The story begins in the year 1970, where we're introduced to a young man named Nicholas. He's celebrating with his college friends, enjoying the moment. All of them are medical students who've just graduated, which means they're now officially doctors. Nicholas's father hopes his son will join him in his work, but Nicholas dreams of practicing medicine in a different country. The only problem is, he doesn't know where to go. In search of direction, Nicholas spins the globe in his room, closes his eyes, and randomly stops it with his finger. When he opens his eyes, his finger lands on Uganda. That moment becomes the turning point. Soon after, Nicholas arrives in Uganda to work alongside Dr. David, who runs a missionary clinic there. While traveling by bus, Nicholas notices military tanks and soldiers passing by, which makes him a little uneasy. He turns to a local girl and asks if they're safe. She calmly replies that these are General Idi Amin's men. Nicholas eventually reaches Dr. David's clinic, where the doctor and his wife are devoted to treating the local people. Nicholas joins them and begins helping with medical care. As he witnesses the harsh realities of life in Uganda, especially the extreme poverty, he feels deeply saddened. But over time, he starts connecting with the locals and slowly begins to enjoy the rhythm of life there. One day, while Nicholas is with Dr. David's wife, an army officer arrives and informs them that General Amin has injured his hand. They're asked to come along immediately. Upon reaching the location, they discover that the general's hand was wounded by a farmer's bull. Nicholas begins dressing the wound, but the bull is loudly agitated, making it hard for him to concentrate. Frustrated and unable to work properly, Nicholas grabs a gun and shoots the bull. The sudden gunshot causes all the soldiers to aim their weapons at Nicholas. General calmly asks for his gun back and then questions Nicholas, "Are you British?" Nicholas replies, "No, I'm Scottish." The general laughs and says he has a fondness for Scottish people. He then asks Nicholas if he can have his t-shirt to give to his son, offering his own shirt in exchange. Nicholas agrees, and the two of them swap shirts. The next morning, Nicholas is once again escorted to meet the general. This time, the general greets him warmly and expresses a personal request. He wants Nicholas to become his private physician. Not only that, he offers Nicholas the opportunity to run his own clinic in the city, so he can help even more people. But Nicholas hesitates. He explains that his presence is needed in the village, where the conditions are far worse and the people are in desperate need of care. The general doesn't push back. Instead, he tells Nicholas he's free to choose his own path and invites him to a party that evening. Nicholas agrees to attend the party. That night, he arrives and is introduced to General Amin's 3 wives and several prominent guests. The atmosphere is lively, and Nicholas finds himself enjoying the company. Later that night, while Nicholas is resting in his room, he's urgently called again. He's told that the general is feeling extremely unwell. When Nicholas reaches his quarters, he finds the general doubled over in pain, clutching his stomach. The general fears he's been poisoned, but Nicholas quickly realizes it's just severe gas. He applies pressure to the abdomen, and within moments, the general feels completely relieved. Impressed by Nicholas's calm and effective care, General Amin opens up about his past. He shares that he once served in the British Army, where he was treated harshly and made to clean toilets. Now, he stands as Uganda's highest-ranking officer, essentially the president and the most powerful man in the country. Nicholas begins to feel a connection with the general and makes a life-changing decision. He tells Dr. David's wife that he won't be returning to the village. He's chosen to stay and serve as General Amin's personal doctor. Before we continue with the story, a quick request to all our viewers. Many of you watch our videos but forget to like or subscribe. If you're enjoying this journey, please take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us bring more stories like this to you. Moving forward, Nicholas is shown the hospital where he'll be working. He begins his new role, dedicating himself to helping the people of Uganda through his medical expertise. One day, while Nicholas is discussing a medical case with another doctor, a sudden and deafening explosion shakes the area. Both rush outside and discover that a massive bomb blast has occurred in the city. Amid the chaos, Nicholas is informed that General Idi Amin's daughter is in critical condition. When he arrives, he finds her having a seizure. Nicholas wants to take her to the hospital immediately, but the general's wife refuses to allow it. Instead, Nicholas administers an injection on the spot, which stabilizes her condition and brings her back to normal. The next morning, General Amin surprises Nicholas with a gift, a car. He then asks Nicholas to personally drive him to the airport. With full security detail, the general climbs into Nicholas's car, and they begin their journey. But as Nicholas's car crosses a checkpoint, a truck suddenly blocks the road ahead. Gunfire erupts, targeting the convoy of vehicles behind them. Nicholas quickly drives away from the scene, ensuring the general's safety. Furious and shaken, General Amin suspects that some members of his own security team may be conspiring with enemies who want him dead. These enemies aim to eliminate him and seize power for themselves. Realizing that Nicholas's quick thinking saved his life, the general makes a bold decision. He appoints Nicholas as his personal advisor and declares that from now on, Nicholas will remain by his side. Later that night, Nicholas visits a local club. While there, he notices General Amin's health minister speaking with a white man. Something about the interaction feels off to Nicholas. It unsettles him. He decides to inform General Amin about what he saw. The next morning, Nicholas is by the swimming pool when a British High Commission officer named Stone approaches him. Stone tells Nicholas, "You probably don't read the newspapers. Anyone who speaks out against General or the government tends to disappear." He mentions that a judge vanished not long ago. Nicholas brushes it off, saying he doesn't want to hear anything negative about General Amin. He believes the general is a good man who genuinely wants to improve Uganda. But Stone challenges that belief, asking, if that's true, then where is the health minister? No one seems to know. This question begins to stir doubt in Nicholas's mind. He decides to visit the health minister's office, but the minister isn't there. Instead, one of General Amin's close associates is present. This only deepens Nicholas's concern. Confused and disturbed, Nicholas starts questioning everything. Is General Amin truly the man he thought he was? The uncertainty weighs heavily on him, and he makes a decision. He wants to return to Scotland. To share his intentions, he goes to General Amin's office, but the general refuses to let him leave. He reminds Nicholas of the promise he made, to stay and help build a better Uganda. He embraces Nicholas and tells him, "You're like a son to me." In that moment, Nicholas realizes the truth. He's trapped in Uganda, and leaving won't be as simple as he hoped. That night, Nicholas attends a party where one of General Idi Amin's wives is also present. She doesn't share a close bond with the general, and she quietly pulls Nicholas aside. The two of them share a quiet, unexpected moment. She warns Nicholas with urgency in her voice. He needs to leave Uganda as soon as possible. The next morning, Nicholas returns to his home only to find it completely ransacked. His belongings are scattered everywhere, and it's clear someone has searched the place. On the table, he spots an envelope. Inside it, he finds a new passport, but it's not his original one. It's been replaced with a Ugandan passport, meaning he's now officially a citizen of Uganda. This realization hits him hard. Nicholas understands he's no longer free. He's trapped. Determined to find a way out, Nicholas seeks help from the British High Commission officer, the same man he met earlier by the swimming pool. Nicholas reminds him of their conversation, saying, "You told me that if I ever needed help, I should come to you. I need to get out of Uganda." Stone responds with a grim tone. He tells Nicholas that the situation in Uganda is far worse than he imagined. Anyone who speaks against General Amin or the government simply disappears. In the countryside, the general has ordered the killing of countless people, including tribal communities who dare to protest. Stone describes him not as a leader, but as a monster. Nicholas insists he wants to escape. Stone says it's possible, but only if Nicholas is willing to take a risk. Nicholas asks, "Are you asking me to act against Idi Amin?" And with that, he walks away, the weight of the moment pressing heavily on his shoulders. As days pass, the situation in Uganda continues to deteriorate. Violence escalates, and the country's condition becomes even worse than before. Nicholas feels trapped, like a prisoner who can roam freely but has no real escape. The constant unrest and bloodshed damage Uganda's reputation on the global stage. In response, General Idi Amin makes a public announcement, accusing the British of breaking their promises. He declares that all Asians living in Uganda must leave the country within 90 days. Soon, people begin packing up and leaving. One day, Nicholas receives a call from General Amin's wife. When he meets her, she reveals that she's pregnant. The news leaves Nicholas deeply shaken. He realizes that if General Amin learns the truth, neither of them would be safe. Taking her to a hospital isn't an option. It's far too risky. So Nicholas visits the hospital alone and speaks to a fellow doctor, asking for help with the abortion. But the moment he mentions General Amin's name, the doctor refuses. He's terrified. If the general discovers that his wife is pregnant, especially since he has no physical relationship with her, he might target every doctor involved. Left with no choice, Nicholas decides to handle it himself. He gathers the necessary medication from the hospital. But just then, General Amin's men arrive and tell Nicholas that the general wants to see him immediately. When Nicholas meets him, he finds the general in a state of anxiety and distress. He's overwhelmed by the negative press coverage and shows Nicholas the headlines, saying, "They're calling me a monster and a devil. What should I do? You're my advisor. Guide me." Nicholas calmly suggests that expelling international journalists would only worsen the situation. He advises the general to invite them instead, speak with them respectfully, and try to reshape his image. General Amin likes the idea and arranges a press conference, keeping Nicholas by his side. He speaks politely and tries to present himself in a better light. Meanwhile, Nicholas is desperate to reach the general's wife. As soon as he gets a chance, he quietly slips away from the press conference and heads to her home. But he's told she's been taken to the hospital. He rushes there, only to find the entire building eerily empty. When he enters the operating room, he freezes in shock. General Amin's wife lies lifeless before him, the scene filled with tragedy and fear. The scene leaves Nicholas enraged and heartbroken. In that moment, he makes a decision. He will take revenge on General Idi Amin. Nicholas arrives with headache tablets for General Idi Amin. The general, visibly disturbed, tells him that his wife betrayed him and that he made an example of her for the entire world to see. Nicholas hands him the medication and begins to leave, but his hurried exit raises suspicion. The general's most trusted aide, his right-hand man, notices Nicholas's urgency and stops him just before he reaches the gate. He informs Nicholas that General Amin has summoned him again. When Nicholas returns, he's told that a plane is arriving in Uganda, one that has been hijacked. On board are many Israeli passengers and other foreigners. The world's attention is now focused on Uganda. General Amin insists they must go to the airport immediately. As they prepare to leave, the general still has the tablets Nicholas gave him. Just before stepping out of the car, he leaves the tablets behind. Nicholas reaches for them, but the general's aide picks them up first. They all enter the airport, where Nicholas observes the hostages. He notices the general's aide approaching a soldier with the tablets in hand, instructing him to take one. But just before the soldier consumes it, Nicholas intervenes and stops him. The tension spikes. Everyone realizes the tablets are poisoned. Nicholas is immediately seized and beaten brutally. He's dragged into a room, where General Amin confronts him. The general accuses Nicholas of having an affair with his wife. He explains that in his village, anyone who commits such an act with the wife of a powerful man is punished severely, hung from a tree. According to their tribal belief, each scream from the man releases the evil spirits within him. Nicholas is then hung, enduring unbearable pain. General Idi Amin approaches the group of hostages who were brought in during the hijacking. He announces that the Israeli government has agreed to their terms. Therefore, all passengers who are not Israeli will be sent back to their respective countries on a special flight. Meanwhile, Nicholas is brought down. His body is severely injured and barely able to move. At that moment, a Ugandan doctor who is a close friend of Nicholas comes to his aid. He tells Nicholas that all non-Israeli hostages are being released and urges him to escape with them. The doctor treats Nicholas's wounds and discreetly includes him among the foreign passengers who are about to be freed. One by one, they begin boarding the plane. Soon, General Amin's men discover that Nicholas has escaped. The general's right-hand man confronts the doctor who helped Nicholas and demands answers. But the doctor remains silent. Meanwhile, Nicholas is shown seated inside the plane, and the general's aide rushes to inform Amin that Nicholas has fled. But before they can stop the aircraft, it takes off. As the plane ascends, Nicholas sits quietly, tears welling in his eyes. He knows the truth. Uganda's people are suffering deeply under General Amin's rule. The cruelty inflicted upon them is unimaginable. General Amin isn't just a ruthless leader, he's a monster. During his reign, he's responsible for the deaths of over 300,000 innocent Ugandans, including women and children who had done nothing wrong. After the hijacking incident, General Idi Amin becomes infamous across the globe. But his biggest mistake comes in 1979, when he launches an attack on Tanzania. In response, Tanzanian forces strike back and seize control of Uganda's capital, Kampala. This leads to Amin's downfall. He's removed from power and exiled from Uganda. Eventually, he settles in Saudi Arabia, where he lives out the rest of his days. In 2003, he dies in Saudi Arabia. And so, this unforgettable journey drawn from real events reaches its final chapter. If there's another film you'd love to explore next, drop your suggestion in the comments. I always look forward to hearing from you. Your thoughtful messages mean the world to me, and I truly appreciate every single one.